Right. So in those 9 years, four things happened. The passage of the 1969 Tax Act forced payout requirements, and for the Kaiser Family Foundation, which was the controlling shareholder of Kaiser Industries. And we weren't against payouts, but we were against selling the asset at such a depressed value that Kaiser was trading at the time, because not only there were burdens left over from the Kaiser-Fraser automotive venture of the 40s and 50s, but the country had gone into recession in the early 70s. We were faced with new financial requirements burdening the shareholder, and the country was in recession, affecting all of the Kaiser companies in their markets. And third, markets were changing. We were moving out of the age of production and engineering and into the age of information. And that's not a transition that Kaiser addressed. And the fourth factor was my mother's death in 1974. When that happened, the family had some issues to face that, again, made it important for my father to make some financial decisions.
How having to liquidate the company affected you personally?
I was saddened that we saw events happen to us rather than being able to build upon many years of looking over what our alternatives might be. Where did we want the companies to really go? So it was necessary for me to make a very significant transition in my own planning from being involved in the legacy and building my own life and my own career, which I eventually did and had a lot of fun doing, but it was a difficult transition.
Yes. And how do you feel about it?
Again, I would have liked the outcome to have been more of something that involved and created cohesion within the family, and didn't result in so many missed expectations. There was a certain mythology that I faced throughout my career, with people thinking that the power of the Kaiser companies was still there, and it wasn't. And it made it difficult for me to establish relationships in my professional life which were based on fact, not myth and illusion.
How do you think the liquidation of the company could have been avoided?
I don't know if it should have been avoided. That's an academic discussion of options and values, that kind of thing. But it could have been avoided in the sense of a better process for the family reaching out for what would we have liked to have explored? What might we have done cooperatively, not only in our discussions inside the family, but the many friends we had, families with whom we had affinity, to say, what are our options here? And to face that opportunity to explore is a wonderful opportunity, not something to be afraid of.
Yes. So what is, in your opinion, the lesson to learn here?
The lesson to learn is work towards, be proactively in pursuit of the kinds of conversations and taking time to establish process and structure to have really good discussions between not just Generation A and Generation B, but across generations, 1, 2, and 3, perhaps in some cases the fourth, and to welcome and preserve and protect the opportunity for those kinds of discussions. And that's advice I give not to just one generation, but to all. All the generations have to buy into the concept, and I think today there's a much better acceptance of that kind of thinking than might have been true in the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Yes. What is your advice for next-gen members of family businesses that might find themselves in a similar situation that you were in?
Well, to be receptive to and proactively in favor of those kinds of discussions. Don't be afraid of them. The consequences of inaction, of being held back by worry or concerns, show up far later in some cases, and create situations that you didn't have to face. So look at life as an opportunity, work together as a family, look through the other person's eyes. That's where strength is. To be thinking not only of your own future as an individual, but as your family's future and your brothers and sisters' future. Think positively like that, and if everybody in the family does it, it's more likely to pay off than if you just pressed your own cards.
Thank you very much for your time, Henry.
Okay,
Thank you
you're
very much. Bye-bye.